Hey everyone, Mike here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you a few things on why I consider this the ultimate brush making machine. There's a few things right up front here that I can tell you, and then the rest of it will fall into place later, and you'll understand why this all works the way it does and why I design it to do what it does. Anyway, the motors are contained inside these housings here, and inside the housings are some spring doors where the springs are the same on both sides of the housing and both sides of the machine. So it's got 4 springs in it, which gives it a good tension. And it has a 7/8 of an inch travel here, which gives you what, around inch and 5/8, inch and 3/4 of total travel. But because of the tightness of the springs, it allows the wire to spin and tighten faster than if you had a light gauge spring, because the faster your motor housing comes across to meet into the middle or to one end, the faster it travels and bottoms out and you break. That's one of the problems, one of the biggest problems with going to a really thin wire, which I've actually started with the, oops, that's not the one. I started with the 36 gauge on this machine, okay? 36 gauge seems to work really, really well. The 40 gauge, however, that stuff is a little bit thin. I mean, that stuff's not much thicker than a strand of, hair. So I'm going to stay away from the 40 gauge until I get a good grip on, how to get it set up and tensioned properly and all of that stuff. I do have a few ideas though, so if you just, stay tuned, you'll be able to, pick up on those things. One of the things I want to share on keeping your materials contained is through these tubes. And this is nothing new that I came up with, all right? This is something that I saw on Tightline Video, and the tubes keep your materials contained where they're not all over your fly material storage. So, like for example, I've got these right here. All right, these right here, and you can throw them in your fly box, and they're not going to get all tangled up with each other. So here's the thing that I like about them. There's actually a couple of things. One of the things Tim didn't point out, and I'm not critiquing his method of storage, because it's brilliant. I don't know where he got it from, but that's where I got it from. These tubes can also house your brushes, so that they're not getting completely all matted and ratted up in storage. You just keep them inside these tubes, and then you can just pull out the brush when you need it, and there you go. You just tie it in and you use it, and it doesn't have any damage to it, where it's picking up all kinds of garbage laying in wherever you have them laying. So what I'm going to do here is put together. Let me do this real quick. I'm going to pull this material out here. Okay. Oops. I'm not going to pull this material out of my tube and lay it down, and I'm going to. This right here is just 2 pieces of 5mm craft foam that I laminated together with the contact cement. Contact cement works the best because you can lather up one side really nicely and set it aside and let it dry, and then lather the other side up and set it aside and let it dry. You can let it set for 20 minutes to half an hour, And then when you're ready to put the two pieces together, the glue should be dry to the touch. But what happens is when you, once it touches, it's a done deal. When it says contact cement, that's exactly what it means. So you'll see what I'm using this for here in a second. And that's simply to keep my fibers running more true than if you just rip them off and spread them out by hand across the top of your table. Now, what I did was I took this right here and took the unwrapped the metal and took the bristles off of this chip brush. This is just like a 99-cent brush you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's, or I think you can even get them at Harbor Freight. But what it does is this piece of laminated EVA foam on here holds it down to where when you go to brush this out, it does not pull. You can see that right there. It's not pulling the materials out, all right? And you can see I fan it out a little bit here, all right? So you kind of have a fishtail there, but when you swing it around and you grab it again, you do have to put a little bit of pressure down, not a whole lot, and then just brush it out. When you do that, you've got nice straight fibers to lay down on top of your table. So we'll go ahead and no, can't do that yet. First thing we got to do is install our wire, and this is kind of nice because the wire is contained on this spooler that I made. Okay, and you can spin it in two different directions to get it to wind back up on itself, like so. And then you'll bring your wire across, set it down, and put it inside the hook right here on this spindle. You'll want to move this head forward just a little bit so that when the springs pull it back, it puts a real nice tight line on there. So just like that. Okay, now I've got me a nice tight line there. We can now put our table on. So insert, drop, bring it up, and insert into here. And what that does when you lock it down, it makes the table pretty sturdy, so that it's not flopping around all over the place and it won't move on you when you're laying your materials down. So here's the material that we brushed out on this EVA foam, and we'll go ahead and drop it down pretty much just like that. Now I want you to see this. Look how nicely these fibers are running up and down straight. About as perfect as you can get them. Okay, you still can spread them out a little bit, just like that. Okay, and then I'll go ahead, and I didn't do this one here. I'll use the same technique of spreading it out and put the brush down, and we've got ourselves another set of fibers that are ready to lay down, and it just goes down just like that. Just that easy. That's pretty cool, I think. Okay, so these fibers are about as perfectly aligned as you can get it by using that technique there. Alright, so now what we're going to do is bring our wire across again. Okay, and we'll go ahead and I got that old wire that I did not cut off there, so let's go ahead and do that. and then run the wire down. Oops, I lost. This is some thin wire too. So I have to bring it down there. That's kind of an experiment for me. Doesn't look good as it is right now, but it looks like it should work pretty good. Okay, so now that I've got that all secured there, now I can check my alignment of the materials, which is not super critical, but I've got it lined up there. And now we'll go ahead and drop the table. The table simply just drops out. You pull the table completely out of the way, and now you've got all of this room here, which is probably about 5 inches or so to be able to do your spin. So we'll go ahead and just now, if you watch, let's put it on the right. If you watch on this end, let's get that out of the way. On this end, it's going to start spinning and coming in, and on this end, it's going to start spinning in an opposite direction and coming in so it meets in the middle. Now, look, I mean, that is seriously pretty awesome. So now we can go ahead and kind of brush it a little bit to straighten out those fibers again, because when you do spin the materials, I don't care how straight they are, this is obvious with this brush maker here, that they will get tangled up. However, I'm able to hit it with the brush early. I mean, if you tried to do this, if you tried to do what I'm doing right now with just a few turns with another brush making machine on the far end of where your motorized side is, you'll start pulling out your fibers. Okay, with this machine, you are not going to do that. So there it is right there. I mean, that's a nice looking brush. I'm going to go ahead and tighten it a little bit more. And I mean, these heads have not really moved that much, but your wire is definitely wound nice and tight, and your material is too. Remember, it doesn't have to travel as far as it does with the one motor. With this one here, it's spinning and it comes and meets in the middle. In fact, this brush maker is becoming pretty popular with commercial brush making companies. And there's one company down in Colombia, South America. They've already ordered 2 off of me, and the second one they got was not. This is a 12-inch brush machine, and that's where I'd really like for them to be. And the price of these are going to be $275. Now that sounds steep, but I will do a video on, you know, how I made them, how long it takes, and you know, how much money is in these. Now, if you know anything about 3D printing, that's how these are made. They're 3D printed, and what I am considering doing, because I know if I even sell my STL file to where they can put it in their own slicer, and so that their machine understands with the G codes and whatever, but so the machine understands that they can print off. I mean, they've already got the file, they can print theirs off if they buy the STL. But I know that there are going to be people that will buy the STL to make their own, and I'm all for that. In fact, if somebody can come up with their own design and make it, I'm all for that too. I'm not in this to be the sole provider of an ultimate brush machine, trust me. But I do want to help people, and this will help people who understand what a brush machine is. And that's another funny little quick story, is when I tell people about the brush maker that I've been working on at some of the fly fishing clubs, most people are like, what's a brush? I mean, what do you do with a brush? Well, I'm not going to do it in this video. I'm going to make a video shortly after this one using this brush material that we just made on this machine. But back to the STL file, I am considering it, and it's not going to be cheap. In fact, it might even cost a little bit more for you to buy the STL file. But that if you buy the STL file from me, you will have license to make one of these, to make 10 of these, to make 100 of these, or however many you want, and put them together and sell them yourself. Now, 3D printing is not for everybody. There might be a couple people here watching, oh, it's easy. Well, it is easy. I've got an engineering background, and mostly as a technician, not an engineer. I didn't graduate to be an engineer, but I worked with a lot of engineers. And, you know, I can tell you, this machine is well designed, not because I did it, because it is well designed. So, I mean, if somebody wants to come up with and make their own, go for it. You have license to do that. I mean, I'm not even going to, I was thinking about doing a patent on this, but I got to thinking, why? Because there's going to be people that will see this and say, I can do that. And I'm telling you, you can do that. So if you want to make your own, you can buy the STL file from me, but the amount of money you're going to spend on the STL file might be twice the cost of what you could buy one of the machines. Now, the company down in Colombia, South America, they wanted the 24-inch machine because they've got ladies that lay materials out while somebody else is spinning them up and brushing them out. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be ordering more of these machines. They don't have it yet. They should be receiving it, their 24-inch machine, next week sometime. They've already had their 12-inch and they like that. Now they want to see what the 24 will do. So I know for a fact that if you're buying a 24-inch machine, you're doing it for commercial purposes, and those machines are going to cost more. That's just the nature of, you know, making money, and these things will definitely make you money. So yeah, this is a beautiful brush, and I can tell you right now, it's going to make a decent, very decent streamer. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And if you're on Facebook, consider joining our Frugal Fly Rodder Facebook group. I'll have links to that in the description. If you're watching this on YouTube, there will be a description below. And then the link will also there will also be a link that will take you to my website, where there will be a little bit more, you know, written information about the brush maker and some of the tools and my sources of where I get everything. That'll all be there. I do have 2 of these made now. I suppose I could sell one, but I got boxes being made, custom boxes to hold these together. You're not going to have to put anything together. When you get this brush machine, you'll pull it out of the box and start making brushes. I thought about selling it where it's a ready-to-assemble type deal, and I just decided against that for a number of reasons. So yeah, I got more stuff coming. And thanks for watching this video. Again, if you got any questions, leave them in the comments below, either here on YouTube or over in our Facebook group at thefrugalflyrodder.com. Again, well, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next video.